been a long time coming, but we have reached the penultimate episode of the K-On! TV series.
Nice.
Whole buttload of episodes.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Been a lot. But we are not quite done yet.
No.
Still got a few left in the tank.
We gotta cry more.
We do. Welcome to this week's episode of Jared and I Watch K-On! This is episode number 40.
Whoa.
The big 4-0. Over the hill.
I think that's 50.
Whatever, same difference.
No 10 years.
I'm Jared, that is Doc Al and Ladium,
Hello.
and we are discussing Season 2, episode number 23, entitled After School. The penultimate TV anime episode. So yeah, the seniors are getting ready for graduation, and then they just show up just because. Why not? We open the episode with Yui ironing.
Yeah, which I don't trust Yui with an iron.
She's just doing her thing.
And she says that she's going to iron her tights, but then she decides not to. But, like, you shouldn't iron tights. That's a terrible idea.
She decides not to iron her tights and then wears a pair of tights.
Yep.
It's like, what are you doing? Also, they have nubbles on them.
Nubbles, whatever that is.
It's those little tiny little bits that come off when you wear things too much.
I know. It's just a weird phrase for them. But usually tights are made out of nylon, and nylon is not something that you should iron.
Mm-hmm.
Could steam it.
But it is Yui.
Yeah, I imagine she probably has several pairs of tights that have been melted.
It would not surprise me. She gets a text from Ritsu, and basically it's Ritsu saying, hey, let's go all hang out in the club room tomorrow, all throughout school. Like you see Ui and Azusa just like hanging out, and then I think Ui says something about, hey, if you see my sister, tell her this. And then Ui or Azusa looks out the window and is like, oh, she's here. Huh. He's just like, that's weird. So, like, we go to the club room, and it's just the four of the seniors just hanging out. They have tea because they don't have anything else to do, and are just they're just hanging out. They can't practice or play music because class is in session. That would be rude.
Yep.
So they have to figure out what they're gonna do and how they're gonna spend the day. They begin by deciding they want to play a board game, and Yui decides she's gonna make a version of Snakes and Ladders.
Which
But
I always
apparently-
thought was Shoots and Ladders, but Snakes and Ladders, I guess, is a version, maybe?
Yeah. She apparently doesn't do it quite well enough because she doesn't make an ending goal for them. So Ritsu's like, ah!
But then also they make it, like, brutally intense. Like, at certain points, so, like, this happens, completely mess up in front of thousands of people, and it's the end of the world. And then they're like, oh, God. Go back 3 spaces.
Go back 3 spaces. So they don't get to play their game, but they eventually they go down to their club room and do some cleaning.
Yep.
Ritsu has yet to clean out her desk. Even though graduation's tomorrow.
Yep.
Yui has a bunch of just, like, random notes and doodles and stuff that she's accumulated over the years, and Mugi's like, I want them. Nodoka shows up and just like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, we're just hanging out. What are you doing here? And she's like, I had to come clean the student council room and get it all organized. Like, I actually had to do stuff.
For the next
Like-
council
Like,
president.
oh, okay. They go to the student council room and just hang out with her for a little bit and just look around it and like, oh, you look very president-y. They look at like this
The
album
book.
that has like all of the other student council presidents, and they're like, there's like a photo of Nodoka, and they're like, is this for a dating site?
That was so funny.
You
Like,
could put this on a dating site.
Ritsu says it like 3 times.
Ritsu also tells her that she's always going to look president-y to her.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go to the staff room and get Nodoka's speech for the graduation ceremony checked out by Miss Yamanaka, which she does, and she's like, hey, this is good. Go let the assistant principal see it. And she does that. Also, Mr. Yamanaka's like, or the girls are like, hey, you should come hang out with us in the club room. And Mr. Yamanaka's like, I have actual work to do. Like, graduation's tomorrow. I have stuff to do. I can't just do nothing like you guys. So they wait for Nodoka to finish up that, and then it's lunchtime, and they run into Azusa and June, and they're like, Azusa, go get us lunch.
Please buy us lunch.
Buy us lunch. We didn't buy money. Also, it'd be weird if we went to buy lunch. And she's like, oh, I guess. They like take orders.
She finds the giant chocolate eclair thing, and they're like,
The legendary golden eclair.
they're like, how did you find this? And she's like, oh, it's hidden in the bag. They're like, who hides something like this? It's huge.
We've never had this before.
It's so funny.
They're so excited. They have lunch. Azusa has to leave because she has class, obviously, and like she's walking back, like holding leftovers from the eclair that the girls said to give to June and Ui, and Azusa's just like, why were they so excited? Like everyone in our class has had that before. Like what are they doing? After lunch, they decide to try and think of things that they want to do before they graduate. Mio comes up with the idea that she wants to feed Tonchan. They're like, wow, we didn't figure you would want to do this. And she's like, every time I want to, someone else does it. They try and do something with the remaining club funds, which is just 5 yen. So they just tie a ribbon around it. And then they have more tea.
Yay.
Mugi thinks of something she wants to do, and that is clean the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Because she never got to use her cleaning supplies she bought from the hardware store way back when.
And the Windows logo shows up in a tea glass.
That's true. Mio then proposes that they clean the club room, so they decide to do that. They basically give it a good scrub down and get all that wrapped up by the time the school day is over. And then they finally have their final tea after school. Yui is like, we got to do something special. It's our last time here. We're last time having tea together. She decides she wants to try and find a way to leave something behind. So like, she's like, let's hang a photo. And they're like, no. Let's carve our names into the desk. Nope, not happening. So they're trying to figure out how to do it, and then they're like, or trying to figure out how a way to leave something behind. And they're like, what if we record something? Record our songs and just leave that behind. So they decide to do that. They all have to like figure out like a set list and everything because Oz is there by now. So they get a tape deck recorder, and then they decide to start recording their songs.
Which first they're like talking, and then they're like, oh God, I hate the way their voice sounds. Don't do that. And then Yui just keeps trolling by like recording when they're saying that they hate their voices.
Like Azusa yells at her and she records that.
Yep.
He's like, oh my God, I'm so scary. And like, yes, Azusa, you're so scary. So they record some banter, they perform a bunch of songs and everything.
Start with an instrumental track.
Which, of course, that's clearly how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, they record a bunch of songs, and Miss Yamanaka and Nodoka come to visit, and she's like, do you want me to help you with this? And like, no, we got this. We're going to do this. They finish their recording, and they look at the tape, and the tape looks very familiar.
It does. I was like, oh man, look at that. It's the tape that they keep showing all the time.
It's the tape from the commercial bumpers.
Yep.
So there you go. A nice little Easter egg for you. So they finish that, and they're done for the day, and they listen to it, and tomorrow is going to be graduation.
I'd say done forever.
Done forever. We have a bit of trivia for once.
Whoa.
It's a rare occasion nowadays, but the album Hokugo Tea Time 2, which was an actual album they released, comes with a cassette version to mirror the recordings that happened in this episode. It includes an introduction track with the conversation before they record songs, as well as banter between tracks like Sawako introducing herself. Whereas this episode only features 2 tracks as insert songs, the album is comprised of all their songs to date.
Wow.
So they have there's 2 versions with this, where disc 1 is a bunch of studio mixes, where it's just a bunch of their songs that they've done, and then disc 2 is the cassette version where it has the introduction. They play Fuo Fuo Time, Curry Then Rice. I'm trying to get the actual names that aren't Japanese. My Love is a Stapler, Ballpoint Pen, Brush Pen, Pure Pure Heart. I don't know what this one is. Can't Stop My Strawberry Parfait. Honey Sweet Tea Time, Tokimeki Sugar. This song, which is Winter Days. This song, which again I don't know. Early Summer Rain 20 Love.
All right.
Rice is a Side Dish, and You and I. So I bet like some of those songs we would know from the game because I think they're B-sides and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a cool little thing that they did to like make a fake version of that cassette that they put in the anime and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So there you go. A fun little thing there.
Yeah.
They included to mimic this episode. But that is going to do it for this episode, and that leaves us with one final television episode remaining.
Da-ba-bum.
We will be discussing next time on the penultimate episode of Jared Now Watch K-On!, which I've had to differentiate there. It's very confusing. We will discuss Season 2, Episode 24, the series finale of K-On!, the anime, the TV anime, entitled Graduation Ceremony. It's time to get real sad.
Real sad.
Real quick. So we'll discuss that next time. But for now, if you'd like more from us, go to seasonallycheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Anime Checkup and Season Anime Checkup OVA. Not this podcast. This podcast is what you're listening to.
Yay!
You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. And you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. So next time, join us as we discuss the television series finale of K-On!
Graduation. Yui gonna Yui.